I am going to put you on the spot here because I'm listening to the costs of these alternative energy sources, and in a country where the poverty line is something that we are constantly looking at, what are possible solutions that are cost effective for majority of people versus your executives that can afford these solutions?
Our solution is that we are now poised to raise funds in order to allow us to allow pay-as-you-go functionality for our products. So we can come and collect our products. If you stop paying, you can change your mind and we can come and pick up. So we've got a contract, which is a rental agreement. It's pretty standard. A power box, which might cost you 25,000 Rand outright capital outlay. Now you can pay between 550 Rand and 750 Rand a month.
And cheers to those kind of solutions. We love them. Hello, 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 everybody. This show has been created to inspire you to take action.
Celebrating and reframing what success looks like.
To be the best version of ourselves that we can be.
And we have incredible speakers for you tonight.
Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the Future Females Show. I'm Susana Kennedy, and this is the lovely
Lauren Dallas! Feels weird screaming my own name, but here we are.
We like to celebrate each other, Lauren.
That's true. So this show is all about celebrating and reframing success and celebrating women from all walks of life and all different industries. And we are really excited because today we are focused on conscious business.
Yes, and our first guest is somebody that I'm really super excited about because she reframes the way we look at energy. How do we look at energy and going into business in an area that women are not generally the CEOs, which Felicity is the CEO. And so we love that because how do we reframe our understanding of what it means to be a CEO in an industry that is not generally female friendly and really killing it. She is doing an incredible job. So Felicity, welcome. We are so honored to have you here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's fabulous being here. I'm having a really wonderful time with everybody.
Yay! Let's give her a big hell yeah welcome. Felicity, I think one of the things that we should just start with is who you are and how did you come to create this business?
Thank you, Susana. Thanks, Lauren. So basically this business was actually it was founded by my husband. So it is a family business. I was working just in 2019, 2020 in tourism. And when the pandemic started, I had to close down my business and actually just join the family business. So he had been working with renewable energy companies, doing 10 rugby fields put together of solar. So, wind is cheap, solar is cheap, and he was doing these projects as utilities for NamPower or Eskom, industrial, commercial. And we found a gap in the residential solar market. That's how we came to do this.
Wow. I love that you say solar is cheap because when I think of these businesses where there are, from my perspective, massive barriers to entry. You need infrastructure, you need therefore funding, technical expertise. I would be shit scared. I don't know if I can swear on our show, Susana.
Yes, you absolutely can. I do it all the time,
Just
Lauren.
checking. We can beep me. I would be quite scared to enter this market, particularly because it's not, let's say, a lifestyle company, which is the reality of what a lot of female solopreneurs actually start. So I know it was the family business, but what gave you as a partnership the courage to take on such a massive problem?
So I'm on a very steep learning curve. Every day I am learning something new, and we all know how good that feels when you learn something. It's a reward. So basically, because we had already encountered difficulty with energy on our own property at home, we started thinking about how could we cope with load shedding. And that's been the biggest challenge lately. It's become such a question for everybody. And then just the fact that we care about the environment and we care about the cost of electricity also became something that made me feel more interested in the business.
You know what I really love about it as well is I think that you were talking about barriers to entry, right? As an entrepreneur, you are an entrepreneur. You studied business, I know that, and you were in publishing. A lot of female entrepreneurs, a lot of entrepreneurs, full stop, they tend to stay within their field because they think that you need to be, well-versed in that specific topic. Whereas my understanding is, because my dad is an entrepreneur and I can see it now exhibited beautifully in you, is he started in steel construction with 3 guys and a bakkie, and then ended up owning cheese factories and bolt companies and all kinds of different things. If you've got a business mind, do you find that you find the right people to fit the right tasks and are still able to create the company you envision?
Absolutely. It's just so great that we have what we call our secret weapon. He is our king of R&D, so all the research and development. So basically, whatever tech you have today, you need to always be pushing to the next level and thinking about what could change in the environment that will make your technology better or more relevant. So it's just keeping a sense, I think, of being humble and open-minded, and just knowing that it's a learning curve all the way.
All the way, and finding the right people, right? The right partners and the right people.
Absolutely.
You and I were speaking about that today, and the importance of it. I think it's such a great point.
And it leads me on to my next question, which is just coming back to how hard I perceive your business model to be. And the growth that I have also perceived and seen your company achieving, both in kind of scale, but also in your product line. You're doing so many different things. Maybe you can actually share, firstly, what your products are and who you're serving with them. But then secondly, what has been the biggest accelerator of your growth, if you could pinpoint 1 or 2 things.
So I'm not going to lie to you about load shedding, but every time...
Thank you, load shedding.
We can just go right there. It's really something for us. We didn't start out thinking about load shedding. We actually started out thinking about rooftop solar systems for residential customers who usually are quite high net worth individuals who are working in a job where they can't be without power. So maybe an advocate, a media executive, someone in banking, people who can work from home, but can't if load shedding is in play. So that really has been a great kind of opportunity for us.
So can I ask a question on that? What is the current energy crisis that we are really facing in South Africa? Because I know that it's an international crisis, the energy crisis, but whenever I do an interview with international people, they're like, you've got load shedding? What does this mean, But for South Africans, this is a real problem. So what is the reality that we are facing?
So the newest buzzword that I've picked up, in fact, this week was around a just energy transition. And it's a just energy transition partnership that we are talking about. So there's an opportunity. It's about $8.5 billion of an opportunity for companies to start cleaning up their act and also taking the opportunity to create renewable energy solutions. And in this case, we've just had the COP26 summit, which was in Scotland this past year. And coming up again, November will be in Egypt. And South Africa is in a big hurry, the president actually as well, and Eskom, in a big hurry to create this partnership.
There you go.
Because we want that money. and basically, it's not to say that we're going to allow companies that have, through the past years, oil and gas companies, it's not for those previously, I wouldn't say they've been doing these misdemeanors. It's to say we actually are concerned about the communities around where those projects are going to be, and about projects maybe that are female-led in the areas where those projects that are going to be. So there is an opportunity for us to make a change, and we're looking at the next 30 years, 50 years, where we can try to go towards net zero.
Woohoo!
Hell yeah!
Amazing.
So, what are some of your products that you offer, and what are the pros and cons of the opportunities or the available, different things that people can use versus electricity?
So that's a great question. I think we are working with solar panels, working with inverters, working with batteries for storage, because you want to be able to store your electricity. In that space of time where load shedding is happening, which is 2.5 to 3 hours, we have a product called the Power Box. It's a smart UPS. Basically, you can plug in a big screen TV, your laptop, some lighting, your Wi-Fi router, and you can keep ticking over through that period of 3 hours. We also look at rooftop solar.
And is that charged by solar panels, or do you charge it with electricity?
You have a solar-ready unit, which means that it can remain plugged in at the mains to recharge its cells, so that you don't need a solar panel. But there is the option. The unit actually comes with a plugging point, and you can connect 1 or 2 panels. You can also take it with you when you go camping. And
wow.
Yeah, and basically it's a portable, reliable, clean, quiet source of electricity.
I think quiet there is a good one. I don't know how many people out there get driven crazy by the noise that a lot of generators make. So it's a quiet
source of energy. And then we've got a hybrid solar system for a home, where you can have batteries, but also maybe up to 12 panels on your rooftop, depending on how much rooftop space you have. And why we call it hybrid is because you have the batteries as a backup. The power box that I explained earlier is about 25,000 Rand. So this hybrid solar system, you can go from between 150 to 200,000 Rand. And you do need to maybe think about putting gas geysers, gas for cooking, just in order to make it more efficient. It won't do any heating, it won't necessarily do refrigeration, but it does work for your essential devices and essential appliances.
Amazing. I think when there's a big problem, there always come solutions, but I think one of the challenges is knowing which solutions to trust and which are credible and which are not. I remember during the water crisis, how many frickin' at-home desalination kits I bought off Take-A-Lot, and none of them worked. But in all seriousness, how do we, with kind of the consumer hat on rather than the entrepreneur hat, how do we judge between what's on the market? How are you setting your products apart?
It's quality. You really can't compromise on quality components. So what sets us apart is that we offer a long warranty. So we actually have been telling customers that we can cover the technology that we supply to them for 5 years. We know it probably has a 10-year lifespan, our power box. And we're using, I don't want to name brand names, but we are using top quality components. We all know Tesla, and our batteries come from the same factory that Elon Musk is getting his batteries from.
That is amazing.
Wow. Yeah.
So I am going to put you on the spot here, because I'm listening to the costs of these alternative energy sources. And in a country where the poverty line is something that we are constantly looking at, what are possible solutions that are cost effective for the majority of people versus your executives that can afford these solutions?
Susana, that's a really great question, I have to say, because it's something that has kept us awake at night. We wake up in the middle of the night worrying about something, at 3 a.m., and you're like, why am I still thinking about this? And basically, our solution is that we are now poised to raise funds in order to allow us to allow pay-as-you-go functionality for our products. So we can come and collect our products. If you stop paying, you can change your mind, and we can come through and pick up. So we've got a contract, which is a rental agreement. It's pretty standard. You know how to get a debit order. So a power box, which might cost you 25,000 Rand outright capital outlay, now you can pay between 550 Rand and 750 Rand a month.
Amazing. I love that.
Too.
Oh yeah, we can. That's like
That's a champagne.
a bubbly moment. Cheers to those kind of solutions. We love them.
So I have a personal question that we didn't prep you on, but I think we have time to go there. So I started Future Females with an amazing co-founder, Serena, but it grew to a point where my fiance had to step into the business to help keep it running. And so I've personally experienced some of the massive highs and lows of building a business, like the 3 a.m. in bed, there's no off switch. But I'm just wondering if you can share, how are you experiencing that, working with your husband in all of this?
Yeah. Oh gosh. So my husband offered. My husband, he offered as I was leaving the house this evening, he offered to join me, and
he would be welcome.
He would have been, to all intents and purposes. And I said, "No, babe, this is my scene. It's okay. I'm going to do this." So it is really about giving each other the space to be where we can be most effective and creative. So there are things that I know this is on his beat. And so we try. We have a weekly meeting, which is around business and admin and other topics. We talk in other meetings. So we've got about 3 meetings a week. And
like personal life, business, everything else.
Child, we have at the same time an 11-year-old, and she's one of the biggest promoters of our business. She actually, when load shedding happens, she goes and she gets the 10-meter long extension cable, and she puts all her gadgets, her Nintendo Switch, her iPad, her cell phone, her TV. And it works. So we try to give each other this space.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so great. Can I ask you, what would be the thing that you would say to people watching with regards to switching over to energy solutions that are more sustainable?
I'd say do it in a modular fashion. So as if you have building blocks. So take it, not that you have to spend 200,000 Rand initially, rather begin by getting a power box, maybe even renting a power box. And then as time goes, you pace yourself so you can actually build on your renewable energy system bit by bit. It's quite possible.
Great. I love that advice because it's very, very practical. With the founder hat on now, and the green economy space, whether it is renewable energy or recycling and upcycling and waste and the full spectrum, what would be your advice to a woman who's really passionate about the problems this is solving, but are just feeling like it's an overwhelming space to step into?
It is a very overwhelming space. I completely agree. What I would suggest is doing something each day towards that, which will feed the need. So whether it's taking plastics off the beach when you happen to go for a beach walk at sunset, just take a few plastics, That's just, it feels good. I did it myself this weekend. I came away with a big spa packet full of plastic. So just taking your own recycling and your own electricity usage into account. So you don't have to have all the lights on in the house. Yeah. Maybe put a timer switch on your geyser. Maybe switch to cooking with gas. Things like that.
Amazing. And then the problem that you're solving is massive, right? We're all experiencing it here in South Africa, but across the continent, there's huge issues, with kerosene lamps and lack of access to electricity in rural areas and so many things. Like, this is a huge, huge problem. What is your vision for your business? Where do you want to take it?
I actually see us manufacturing in different African locations. I see us having a factory in Namibia. I feel like we could have a factory in Kenya. I feel like we could have something going on in Ghana. So I'm really excited about Africa, because when you take a photograph of planet Earth from out of space, you can see certain things. And one thing you see on the African continent is there are lights on in certain sort of remote contexts. Cape Town has got light. So just thinking about the opportunity makes me feel very excited.
To light up the continent. Before we go on to our final questions, I do want to ask you a little bit about the environmental impact around electricity and what switching to solar power would do. Like, what is the difference? Because a lot of people don't actually understand what the environmental impact of using electricity is.
It's so difficult to quantify, but I can say, for example, just using Eskom electricity, for example, as opposed to solar or wind or maybe even hydro, you actually just can see the impact in terms of the particles of carbon. So if a tax is imposed, people will feel that. They will really, actually know that my use of electricity is damaging to the environment, and there can be a fee. We are seeing it already with with petrol and diesel. Next month, we're probably going to be paying a whole R2 more. So it's escalating. And if a monetary tax is put on, I think people will understand that more easily and more quickly.
What is the biggest challenge that you've faced so far within this industry that you've overcome and really learned something that you've gone, oh yes, I can share this with other women and it will help you? What would be your thing?
It's I'd say it's just attention to detail, because there is a lot of red tape. When you are trying to put a residential solar system in place, there's a lot of form filling, you have a lot of stamps, the tariff needs to change what you pay to the municipality. So it's quite important to just keep your eye on the details and not be daunted by all the forms that you have to fill in.
Wow, for me, that would be very daunting.
Yeah.
When
I
I
will
see
fill the
forms,
forms
I'm
in.
like,
Was that an
literally,
offer
like,
to fill in the
murders
forms?
my soul.
Thank you.
I will fill the forms in for you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, like
Going to love it.
genuinely.
Sign on the dotted line.
Thank you. Oh, I see how it works. That's good business practice. I love
That
it.
is.
So it's been 2 years, roughly, since you left your full-time job. So there's probably a lot of women tuned in, but also in our lovely live audience who are maybe considering when is the right time. What would your advice be?
I would say start your side hustle right away.
Now.
Now. Today.
Love it.
Just do it. And I would love to ask you, as you guys know, I love to get women to celebrate themselves, like I made Lauren introduce herself earlier on. But I really do, because I don't think women celebrate themselves enough. If there was one thing that you could really say that you celebrate about yourself, that you're proud of achieving so far, what would it be?
I'd say it's just my capacity to take to new things and to learn. It's something I really appreciate, having the opportunity, being able to pivot and switch from one industry to another, from publishing, from tourism, and now energy. This is really great.
It is. Can we have a hell yeah for that?
I absolutely love that. I mean, personally, it's something I believe in, lifelong learning, but also that you will only rise to the level of your education. And so you need to be constantly developing yourself into the person that your future business needs you to be. So I love that you shared that. Thank you.
I also do. Thank you so much. Is there anything you would like to leave everybody with before we let you go?
I think it's just to say it's more about the journey. I know it sounds very corny to say like this. It's the journey and the process. It's not necessarily the destination. So I would just encourage everybody to live each day as if it were your last.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that's excellent advice, because we take life and time for granted, don't we? We think, no, I've got plenty of time. You don't.
Today.
Like we take energy for granted.
Yeah, like we take energy for granted, exactly. Thank you so much. It's been so amazing chatting to you. So insightful.
Yes, thank you so, so much for coming on. We appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who's here in the room. Thank you to everyone tuned in.
Yes, and we will see you again soon for another episode of the Future Females Show. Hell yeah!